These are dick fingers.
Why is one finger dick fingers?
Because I don't want to go on anybody's genitals, but I've never seen one person.
You don't want to go on
Actually,
anybody's
that's not true.
genitals? That's a lie.
I've seen porn with a guy with two dicks, and it's weird because one is clearly like
I heard about this porn, by the way,
like
and I thought it was fake.
Yeah, it's totally. It looks like it's fake. It looks like a paper mache.
Yeah, a paper mache cock.
But it's back in the '80s where it was just strange stuff going on.
I love that where they're like monster dick. But it's like a guy, it's like totally a monster dildo because the guy won't even take his pants off. I'm like, you're not fooling anybody.
Exactly. And the ones that have, I mean, I've seen the weird, like, it's totally a prosthetic. And it's
bullshit.
And it clearly is coming from the mind of like some dude who thinks that like
it matters.
Wants that much cock at all. Like, I mean, like that much inside.
I was about to say, some of us want some.
No, we're talking like
but not like
a third leg kind of thing.
Not like you could use it as a coffee table.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like, literally a tripod.
Like quite literally. Like they need another shoe for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gotta buy two pairs of shoes.
A leg strap that goes like down here.
Today I'm here with Jason, who's a friend of mine here in New York, and when we were talking about doing this show, Jason volunteered to talk about being heteroflexible and black and sort of what that means in society and his experiences with that. So, talk to me. Tell me everything.
Well, it's too. I mean, God, you're going forever about like where it starts, what happens, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But there's what's most important to think about.
Where did it start for you? Let's go there.
Probably.
Let's start at the start.
Probably way back in childhood, like boys playing with boys and stuff like that.
So did you have crushes on boys when you were young?
I couldn't have nailed it down as such because and that's part of the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because it's like there's what's socially acceptable and and I was actually having this conversation online with a few of my friends the other day about the toxicity of masculinity in the black community in this country. There's an old saying in the South that when America gets a cold, black America gets a pneumonia, which is that the problems in America get heightened once you get into the black community.
Right.
And one of them, toxic masculinity, is one of them that's been throughout my entire life. I grew up in the South,
Texas.
So I was already a skinny kid who didn't play sports, who was smart and nerdy and wore glasses and that kind of thing. So it was
you had some shit stacked against you.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean certainly not more than others. I mean, and not any more than others. Adversity through childhood, things like that. But specifically, I mean, I grew up in largely the black community, and so being able to identify
in Houston,
Texas. So being able to identify anything that might have been any more than like special behavior or things like that, like I was straight. I identify as straight, and that's because
that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there was teased for being gay. I got called fag more often than I got called nigger as a kid.
Wow. Yeah.
Because that was a way of
that was even worse.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how you mess with the boys. You could call them,
right?
Exactly.
Because it's the worst thing in the world to be not hyper
masculine, straight.
Yeah.
Exactly.
God forbid.
So I grew up. That's just kind of the way I thought. And it wasn't until college that I actually gave myself permission to even explore what it might mean to want to be sexual with a man or anything like that. And it was sort of, there's all kinds of waves of shame and like, what am I doing? And am I gay? And how does this work? Because I still like girls. And and like, I don't know where to put this. And so there were waves. And to be honest, it's like, what's interesting about it is that every single partner I've ever had, and I've dated women generally across the board, every partner I've ever had, I've always told them about it. So I'm not secret about it. But it's not, this is the first time I've ever talked publicly about it to anyone. So
I appreciate that, by the way. This is like a big topic.
Yeah.
And I was actually really like, whoa, this is the topic you're going to talk about? This is huge. Like a lot of people, they even, we're grown up and like we live in New York, which is a very liberal city, but it's still there, no matter whether you're, in a liberal city or a less liberal city. Can you talk to me, like, did you ever have any negative reactions from partners about you disclosing this information about yourself?
Oh yeah, what's funny is I dated someone once who, she was nervous, she came from a conservative family.
Sure.
She was nervous about dating me because I had 2 earrings.
You're like, this is the least of your problems.
So,
oh, wow.
But as we got more serious, I came out about it, quote unquote, that I had been with men before, and it made her really nervous about it. And I've had other partners who, it runs the gamut. Some people are okay with it, some people are not okay
Did
with it.
it ruin that relationship?
No, it didn't.
No, that relationship went on and
It
got
has-
ruined for other reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
They were not about that, yeah.
Exactly. So, no, it's sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not okay.
Yeah.
There's also this weird thing now where, because of the diversity, because the alphabet soup is getting bigger, it's like, where do you fit? Are you now bisexual, are you now pansexual?
Right.
Like, so there's all these different...
Yeah, all these things that kind of have similar languages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I politically, because I went to a very liberal arts school where queer is an identity
Right.
that has some political baggage to it as well.
Right.
I was always worried about feeling like if I call myself queer.
Are you overstepping?
Am I overstepping, or am I co-opting someone else's identity?
Right. But you aren't. Honestly,
Exactly.
it's pretty queer.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
It's pretty, heteroflexibility is pretty
Yes,
queer.
it is.
Yeah, it's in that queer place.
And that's the other fear too, is that am I trying to play it safe by cloaking myself in heteronormative values and looking heteronormative?
Well, there's that privilege too of
Exactly.
and I talk about that a lot because even though I'm queer, most of my relationships have been with men. At least my committed relationships have been with men. Also being a person who's poly, I've had multiple partners at the same time and had those people be of all different, genders and orientations. But so it's that privilege of like presenting as heterosexual or, heteronormative,
Right.
but still having this be an integral part of yourself. And then do you feel like you're sort of betraying your queerness in that?
Right.
Yeah. Do you feel like, is there more subtleties? Of course, you're going to talk about this in your blog. You actually have a blog. What's the name of your blog?
It's zerocomfortzone.com.
Yeah.
Actually, most of the stories there are about, I went abroad a couple of years ago, and so I was mostly writing about that, but I am going to write about this experience. And
Right. So heteroflexibility in and of itself is such a complex sort of landscape, but then of course you put any kind of other issues like class or race or any of these other sort of issues on top, and it makes it even more complicated. So you can certainly go to Jason's blog and read a little bit more about his experience being a heteroflexible man and a black man. And this is an interesting subject and a really important subject.
Sure.
And I always feel like sexuality is such a huge subject to begin with, but then you add up all these other layers and it gets even more complicated. So I really appreciate you spending some time with us today. Yeah, thank you so much. So that's us today. We'll see you next time.